Oh, what can they do about it? Joining us right now is House Majority Leader Congressman Kevin McCarthy. Congressman, I don't know if you saw it last night, but that basically you feel as though the House is working, the Senate isn't, because they need the 60 for the most part. How do you get through this?
Well, we continue to do our job here in the House. Think about what we've been able to achieve. The number of bills, more so than any modern Congress that you've had in the first year of a new presidency. 16 human trafficking bills, 16 congressional review acts, 14 of those signed into law. In the history of America, only one other Congress has ever done one of those. Reforming the VA,
right.
Repealing and replacing Obamacare, we moved that out. And the other thing that we did all 12 of the appropriation bills. The last time a Republican majority did that, right, the iPhone wasn't invented.
Gotcha.
So
we're
doing our work. We just need a little help on the other chamber.
All right. Are you concerned at all when Judge Moore wins that Senate runoff? They say he's more populist than traditional conservative. Do you think the Republicans going to be fighting within themselves come the midterms in a year?
I never get concerned. I celebrate when a Republican wins an election. That's exciting. You know, we are a party that can work and move this country forward. Look at what we just unveiled yesterday. A new tax plan, one that's fair, lets Americans keep more of what they earn. It brings the lowest rate for small business, the lowest it's been in 80 years. That's what creates new jobs. That's what we have to continue to work on.
The Democrats are saying you give way too much to the rich. Getting rid of the estate tax helped rich households, and you don't. They don't like the fact that you lowered rates for major companies. What's your answer to that?
Well, first of all, why do you want to have double taxation? Why don't you talk to Kristi Noem of what she had to do when her father was a farmer and died in an accident, where she had to go out and borrow money to pay for a farm they already had because the American government said they needed to tax them on that. What do you think about lowering and letting America be more competitive? You know, the last 8 years under Barack Obama, if you take his very best growth year, that's actually lower than the worst year under Bill Clinton. We have got to get America moving again, and that means a tax code that can be competitive. Today, American companies that are competitive around the world, our tax code forces them to take that money and invest in another country instead of bringing it back to America and investing here. And the most important part, think of all the days you spend trying to fill out your tax code. You will now do your tax return in minutes because it'll be on a postcard.
Right.
It's fair, it's simple, and it's an American plan.
So I understand the House and Senate got together with the White House, and this is a unified production. However, what is the next step in the process? And when people say get this done before December, are they being practical?
They're being practical, especially in the House. And, you know, we just spent a retreat yesterday for 5 hours walking through this for the entire conference.
Right.
Then you just heard the president talk to the American people. And what you're going to find first, the first phase, is getting the budget done. I just announced next week we will move the budget. That is the first phase in getting tax reform, because that starts the process for reconciliation. Ways and Means will start taking up the tax bill and then move that through the House onto the Senate. And I got to give a lot of credit to President Trump. He has brought both houses together, worked out the differences, and put a tax plan for all of America.
And I know he feels like he can work with you. However, you got to work. You got to stop with the days off on the calendar. You're a leader in the House, and just start putting, you got to start rolling up the sleeves and putting in 7-day work weeks and stop all the days off. Don't you agree? And you could make that happen.
Well, the one thing you find, if we're going through, we have more work days on here than you had on average within Congress. If you look at our productivity of what we're making happen, more bills that have passed this Congress than before. But I agree with you. We need to work as much as we can to get all this work done. I'll keep us in as long as it takes to make sure we get tax done this year.
I pride myself as a problem solver, and I want to do that right now. And I want to bring into my immediate left the other Kevin McCarthy. There is a problem, Kevin. You have the same name, but very different interests and expertise. You're the lawmaker. He's not the movie guy. But it hasn't stopped.
You know what?
It hasn't stopped tweets from coming in that should be going to you, going to him, and vice versa.
I get a lot of people upset with me with some of his reviews on some of these movies. And I think we need to sit down together, review a movie, and review the tax code.
Let's do it together. In fact, let's see a few of these tweets and see if we can get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've been getting a lot of your tweets, Mr. McCarthy. Here's one that says, quote, at Real Donald Trump, at Real Speaker Ryan, at Kevin McCarthy TV. How do you explain 85% of Americans wanted Obamacare fixed, not replaced, and then they put someone at Lawrence? So what I do now is I just respond to your tweets with movie reviews. Since they said Lawrence, why not give them a recommendation of Lawrence of Arabia? I mean, I just think that makes perfect sense. I just said I wish I had an answer to your question, and you mentioned Lawrence, so I wanted to give you a response to Lawrence of Arabia. And so that's what I've been doing. But by the way, Mr. McCarthy, you did actually respond to one of the people who did tweet to you about the commentary, and they said nothing to be sorry about. But I find everything at Kevin McCarthy TV reports to be much more informative than anything at GOP leader has ever said. And you responded with, well, Kevin McCarthy TV has great movie reviews. So I appreciate the support.
Final thought, Kevin?
Well, that is great. The one thing I would say, I wish if you saw Coach Calipari's tweet yesterday, he came out to our charity basketball game, and there's a picture of him and I sitting on the sidelines, and he says, I'm sitting with my good friend Kevin McCarthy, explaining why he's not in the game. So I wish he would have sent that to you.
Thanks, Leader McCarthy. Appreciate it.